All right, so welcome to the next unit. This is on angle relationships. So the done with teacher videos will be the only ones that have videos. So if you get on to the practice assignments and you're not real sure what to do, always refer back to this video. All right, so let's get started. So we have parallel lines and transversals. All right, so it says in the picture below, lines X and Y are blank lines. So if you're looking here, we have line X and we have line Y. Those are called parallel lines. And T is, this is line T right here. Line T is called a transversal. Or a line that intersects them. Both a protractor, use a protractor to measure each of the 8 angles that are formed. All right, so the one thing that you want to kind of look at is these, let me highlight this area, I should say, this area out here. So on the outside of these lines. Okay, so whenever you have this transversal line, you create like a sandwich. This is the bread, this is the middle, this is the bottom piece of bread. The breads are called your exteriors. So these are exterior angles, and so is this side as well. So it goes for the whole top. And then this one here is also the exterior. So these are referred to as exterior angles. Now, the middle part of the sandwich is called an interior. And that goes for everything that is from this line to this line and on both sides of the transversal. Okay, so the first question says, what do you notice about the angle measures? And list which angles have the same measurement. All right. You really honestly don't even need to measure these with a protractor because there's a little bit of some rules that I'm going to teach you here, okay? But you should know that from, previous math classes that angle A plus angle B gives you a straight line. And if you remember, a straight line is 180 degrees. Well, if you continue that around to this, then you have a full circle. And a full circle is another 180 degrees, which gives you a 360, which is a circle. So whatever angle B is, so will be angle D. And whatever angle A is, so will be angle C. And we'll get into those rules here in a little bit. So what do you notice? You're just going to say that angle A and angle B would equal 180 degrees, okay? And so on. You can list all these different things here. But let's get down to the rules here. And we already labeled our interior and exterior, so we're good on that part. So let's get down to some rules and definitions. So vertical angles. All right, so we have vertical angles. Vertical angles are pairs of opposite angles formed by a intersecting set of lines or just intersecting lines. Oh, might help if I forgot my T in there. Thought that looked a little strange. All right, let's start that again. Intersecting. It's what happens when you're writing and talking at the same time. Intersecting lines. So examples from the one above, the picture they gave you up above, okay? Examples would be like angle A and then angle C and angle F and angle G. Those are all vertical angles. So let's look at those real quick. Let's come back up here. Okay, I'm going to erase what I wrote up here just to clean this up a little bit so you can see my new stuff. Don't want it to be kind of hard to read. All right. So angle A, which is right here, and angle C. So anytime you can go through the vertex and come out the other side, those are called vertical angles. And we said the same thing here, angle F and angle G. So it can also go in this direction. Now, the other ones that are vertical would be D and B and E and H, if you want to continue that pattern. The cool thing about vertical angles is that their relationship is congruent. Now remember, congruent's a big fancy word for they measure the exact same. So for instance, if this one here was, I don't know, let's say 60 degrees, that means G is also 60 degrees. Okay, let's say on this one up here, your A was, let's say 100 degrees, then C was also 100 degrees because they're vertical of each other. So when they're vertical, they share the same measurement. All right, so I'm going to erase this so I can use my diagram again. All right, let's look at straight angles. Okay, well, straight angles kind of helps you out a little bit there because the word straight is in it, like a straight line. Angles that form a straight line and add up to 180 degrees are also called supplementary. So things that are supplementary also add up to 180 degrees, and that would be like angle A and angle B. You could also say angle F and angle H. All right, so let's look up at those. We have A plus B. Yep, that gives me a straight line. You could even have it going this way, F and H. You can have it going to the side as well. So since those add up to 180, its relationship is it makes a supplemental angle, or we just call them supplementary. All right, let me erase this real quick so I can use this again. All right, alternate angles. Here we go. Alternate interior angles. So here we're talking about our interior. Let's pick a different color. The interior ones, the ones inside the sandwich. Angles inside the parallel lines and on opposite sides of the transversal. All right. So for instance, you're looking at angles D and angle F, angle C, and angle E. All right, so let's look at that in the picture. So I said angle D and angle E. These are going to be interior angles. And then you also have angle C. And you could even say, oh, sorry, I meant to say D actually gets paired up with F. I highlighted E and I said F. So there we go. So if you see, they're alternating angles. They're on the opposite sides. So here's a transversal, okay? And they're going to be opposite of each other. One thing I like to think of them as is I tell students it creates an S type shape. So if I started here and then I go here, it makes an S type shape. The other one would be here to there. All right, so if it kind of makes that S shape, that means whatever D equals, so does F. Whatever C equals, so will E. All right, so they share the same value measurement. And that's alternate, alternate meaning opposite sides, interior meaning inside. Okay? All right, now we have alternate exterior angles. So on this one, we have angles outside the parallel lines on the opposite sides of the transversal. And so for instance, there you're looking at angle A and angle H, angle B, and angle G. All right, so let's look at those. We have angle A and angle H. And then you have, I said B, angle B, and angle G. All right, so again, it kind of makes that swoop, but these ones go on the outside. So here's my black, supposed to be black. All right, there we go. This would be my black swoop. So it kind of makes that figure 8 kind of look. So whatever B equals, so does G. And whatever A equals, so does H. All right, that's how that works. And this will all make a little bit more sense once you start actually doing it with numbers. All right, we have one more here. We have corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are angles in the same relative position, angles that are what we call matching corners. Okay, and that's going to be things like angle A and angle E and angle F and angle B. All right, and I know I need to come back in and fill in those boxes. I just wanted to not have to be going up and down so much for the picture, but here we go. So we're talking about angle A. It corresponds with angle E. So notice they're in the same location. So this one is in between this line, but this one, and this one's between this line and that one. So they share the same transversal and they're in the same location. So whatever A is, whatever A measures out to be, E will be the same measurement. All right, and then you can also say F and B. So again, they share the transversal and they're in the same location, just on a different line. All right, so whatever B measures out to be, F will be that same measure. All right, so now let's go back down and fill in those last 3 boxes here. So for the alternate interior angles, these angles are what we call congruent, which means they will be the same measurement. For the alternate exterior, those ones are also going to be congruent, which means they will be the exact same measurement. And then we have the corresponding angles, and those ones are also congruent. All right, let's go on to the back. So use the picture and what you know about parallel lines and transversals to label each of the missing angles in the picture below. I'm going to give you a hint. You do not need a protractor. If you know the rules, you can solve this with just this one answer here. So you are looking for this answer, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And we will be able to fill all of those in with just knowing that one angle measure of 75. All right. So if this one's 75, its corresponding angle would be this one, because they're in the same location. So I know that this is also going to be 75. Now, if this one is 75, then I know that its vertical will also be 75. So this is 75 as well. And then you have your alternate interiors, which kind of worked out anyways. Now, if this one's 75, its vertical is also 75 degrees. Okay, there's all your 75s. Now I know that if I take this 75 and I add it to whatever's over here, I'm going to get 180. So if I said 180 minus 75, I subtract those, I get 105 degrees. So that means this is 105 degrees. Well, guess what? There's its vertical right there. So that's 105 degrees. And then this is inside, and this is its alternate interior over here. So this one's also 105, and this one's vertical. So that's 105 degrees. So you wind up with 2 answers. So it says, notice that when the parallel lines are crossed by that transversal, this line right here, here's the parallel lines, and they got cut by this line right here, the transversal. Any 2 pairs of the angles formed will either be congruent, they're either going to be the exact same, or they're going to be supplemental or supplementary, meaning they added up to 180 degrees. All right, so let's try question 1. Question 1 says, oops, I have it a little too high. Find the measure of angle 3. So I need to find this measure right here. How do you know what it's going to be? Well, first off, they're telling me right here that the measure of angle 2 is 55. So angle 2 is 55 degrees. Well, if angle 2 is 55, then I know angle 3 has to be 55 because they are vertical. They share a vertex. So I'm going to say that angle 3 equals 55 degrees because they form a vertical angle. That's it. All right, let's look at number 2. Number 2 says find the measure of 7. So I need to find this one here. Okay, now this one here, I'm going to say is a vertical angle of 6. All right, now if 6 is the alternate interior angle of 3, then 6 is also 55. And if it's vertical, then 7 is also 55. So I'm going to say that angle 7 equals 55 degrees because it is vertical of angle 6, which is an interior, I should probably say alternate, ALT there, interior alternate angle of angle 3. All right, you guys are going to do the rest on your own. You're going to do questions 3 and 4 here, and then down here on number 5. And again, you can skip the summary. All right, hope this video helped.